Mikey Madison stars as Anora in a film called Anora. Sean Baker's back with another banger. Come for the nudity, stay for the gripping story. I think we all saw what I did there. This is not a highbrow channel. All right, let's talk about Anora. Anora follows that timeless love story. Exotic dancer meets son of a Russian oligarch. Exotic dancer falls in love with the son of a Russian oligarch. Exotic dancer realizes that the son of a Russian oligarch is a piece of shit. Now, Anora's been out for a while. It is up for several awards at the Oscars this year, so I'd be remiss if I didn't cover the film. Because again, Adam Does Movies is the name of this channel. Definitely highbrow stuff going on here that I have to cover. What we have here, folks, is a 2-hour and 19-minute R-rated film for swearing, lots of swearing, nudity, a decent amount of nudity, some penetration, short for penetration, a lot of grinding, a lot of thrusting, some working of the pole, gyrating, twerking, jerking, tweaking, blasting, blowing, sucking, cucking, Amelia Perezing, and everything in betweening. Anora has a little bit of something for the whole family. I think I'm going to start with a spoiler-free review here, and I'll let you know when I maybe go into a little spoiler territory, but let's not beat around the dick any longer. I thought Anora was fantastic. And I just have to say, I really appreciate how Sean Baker's actually here. You want to come say something to the audience? No? Okay, well. Okay, yeah. Sean actually said you should subscribe to the channel Adam Does Movies. I'm Adam, I do the movies. I post content almost daily on the channel. It's always movie related. I do live streams, I do roasts on occasion, rants. It's a great time here, and yeah, just jiggle the handle, Sean. It's a little wonky. Yep, he got it. Okay. Hit the notification bell too. All right, let's keep going. Movie's gonna take place primarily in Brooklyn, where we see Anora, a 23-year-old woman who's really just trying to get out of the vicious cycle she's found herself in. She's a fan of Disney. She makes that known at one point in the film with her friend. She wants to have that Disney honeymoon vacay. She wants her Cinderella story. Up until this point in her life, Anora, or Annie as she likes to be called, has operated entirely like a business deal is going on at all hours of the day. She doesn't have any real friends or love in her life. Everything is you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, and tickle the undercarriage, fondle the balls, whatever you want. I think it's also fair to say that Annie's a little naive. She sees this young chap, Ivan, and his crew of idiots roll into her club, throwing money left and right. He clearly has a lot of it. She sees an opportunity for more. Perhaps she could find love through Ivan. And wouldn't you know it, it's happening! Our pretty woman is just one surprised ring case close away from a surprise wedding. Does 21-year-old coked out of his mind, drunk off his ass Ivan actually love this woman? And does Annie actually love this idiot? They've known each other for 2 weeks and they're already gonna tie the knot in Vegas. Well, it turns out it doesn't really matter if they love each other or not, because Ivan's parents don't want anything to do with this girl. They can't have a sex worker sully the good name of their family. This thing has to be annulled ASAP. And I think that's as far as I'm gonna go with the story for now, but I just wanna say, this is a dark comedy and it's freaking hilarious. There was a movie that came out a year or so back called Babylon. No one watched it except for me in the theaters. It lost like a stupid amount of money, I'm pretty sure. But that also had some really funny dark humor in it. And there was good chunks, like 20-minute chunks, where I was laughing consistently. This same thing occurs in Anora. One spot in particular stood out when some Russian goons head on over to Ivan's place and they're trying to force these two to go with them. This whole section of movie is hilarious because of how it plays out and the way that Annie responds to everything. Mikey Madison is awesome in this movie. She absolutely deserves to be up for an Oscar nomination. The way she curses these guys out like a sailor, how she fights back in situations, which is honestly really refreshing to see in a movie. There's so many movies and shows where a guy tries to overpower a woman and they're just like, oh, help, no, stop. But they don't put up any sort of fight. Anora is kicking the shit out of these guys. She's clawing, she's biting, she's breaking noses. It's freaking hilarious to watch. Now, I mentioned this movie's rated R. There's a good amount of nudity and sexual content. I definitely wouldn't watch this one with your kids. All right. Even teenagers, this would be awkward as shit to watch with. Let's get some of the production stuff out of the way really quickly. It is a beautiful looking film. Sean Baker always brings this level of realism to his movies that you just don't see often. It has that kind of handy cam style guerrilla found footage look without the ugliness that comes with found footage movies. But it does feel like you are in the room with these characters all the time. And of the films I've seen by him, this is easily the best looking one of the bunch. His nighttime shots pop like crazy when they're walking the boulevard. You just get a sense like you are with these folks. Adding to that is the great music. Baker really likes his boy pop bands, and this is no exception. There's a song that plays a couple times in here early on. I kind of thought he was going to carry it along further into the story, but he just kind of abandoned it for whatever reason. I think what he was trying to go for here was everything's exciting, everything's going to be amazing, we're looking to the future and it's promising. And then we get to the future and it's not so promising. Now, sometimes these Oscar movies can be a little out there for mainstream audiences. I didn't get that feeling with Anora. This one worked for me. I don't love the artsy fartsy shit by any means. This is not that. All right, the ending maybe a little bit for some. I thought it worked very well all the way through. It kept my attention even at over 2 hours. I was never bored of this movie. It keeps pace. It keeps going forward. Like I said, there's several breakout moments of hilarity throughout. And it ends kind of how you expect, I think, going in, especially if you know this director's works. All right, I want to get away from the vagueness. That's my thoughts on Anora. I am going to go into spoilers now just for a couple minutes. Check this movie out, though, if you can, if it's still playing in your theaters. I think it's definitely worth your time, especially if you're looking for new content to support. Okay, let's get into the meat of this a little bit. So Anora, she falls in love with this complete asshat of a guy. He's very immature. He says he's 21. He acts more like he's 17. No disrespect to 17-year-olds, but, I was one at one point 1,000 years ago. It wasn't great. She and him are operating on very different wavelengths even early on. He only wants her for sex. It's very obvious right out of the gates when she steps foot in his house and he's like, let's go up to the bedroom. It's all, he's like a kid at a candy store. I got a golden ticket. And this poor damn bastard can't last for more than about 10 seconds before he's already spent. This is a reoccurring little gag in the movie. Every time he's done, Annie gives a little snicker to herself. And we laugh alongside of her. Now, I think there's a bit of interpretation you could apply to the character of Annie, whether or not she truly loves this stupid idiot. If she's solely doing it for money, to get out of her terrible job, and just kind of being comfortably numb with the situation she's in, or if she truly does love this guy, if she's fallen for him, she's smitten, and she thinks he loves her back. I think it's definitely more the former than the latter. I think she's told herself that they're in love. I think she wants to believe that, but I also think that the concept of love has been buried pretty far down in this woman. He is paying her a good amount of money, so clearly she feels obligated to work for it. So she's going to be dancing for him, performing sexual favors and whatnot. But once he proposes in Vegas, things do change for her. In her mind, okay, now this isn't so much a business transaction. He really wants to have me for his own. We can be a thing. I can play house. I've made it. I can go to Disney. I can have my storybook thing. But Ivan doesn't care at all. He just thought it would be fun to get married because he does dumb crap all the time. He's like M. Bison in the Street Fighter movie. To her, it was everything. To him, it was Tuesday. Ivan's parents have a stupid amount of money and they have a lot of influence, which means they have a lot of people working on their behalf. And so they catch word about what Ivan has done this time very, very quickly. They send the henchmen over to the place to basically kidnap these two, take them downtown to the courthouse to get this marriage annulled. This brings us to the second half of the movie where Ivan just abandons his new bride. He bolts out of the house and goes on a nights-long bender while she teams up with the other goons to try to find this idiot. As this is happening, one of the Russian goons, Igor, has actually taken to Anora. It was pretty much love at first sight for him. He's forcefully holding her down so that she doesn't run away or try to attack them again. She calls this physical violence. She yells at him, calls him all sorts of names, cusses him out constantly, thinks so little of this dude. Over the course of the next few days, he's going to slowly try to win her over, and it will all reach a crescendo when he pulls out a wedding ring that she thought they had gotten rid of. It was the 4 or 5 carat ring that Ivan bought her. The thing's got to be worth a ton of money, and so it was a very nice gesture for Igor to find it, keep it, and give it back to her. This is done in his car in the final scene of the film. She shuts the door, has this realization that, he gave me something, he's going to expect something in return. So she repays him the only way she knows how. But this lovemaking session doesn't play out the same way all of her other interactions have, because this guy wasn't interested in a quickie in a car. He actually loves this woman. He makes eye contact with her. He wants to see her as they're doing their deeds, and she's pissed about it, ending this whole fiasco in a screaming cry fit into his shoulder. It has dawned upon her in that moment that she will never have her storybook ending. She will never be one of those princesses up in the beautiful castle. She's going to be sitting in a shitty-ass car owned by a Russian's grandma for the rest of her life. And thus we close the book on the tale of Anora. A roller coaster of a movie and a performance by our lead actress. Really enjoyed this one. I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't. And let me know in the comments if you have, and what you thought about this movie. I'd love to hear from you, pro or negative. It doesn't matter. It's nice to have a conversation about it. I would also like if you subscribe to the channel once more. I don't think Baker's here anymore. Now he's left. He's gone. Hit the notification bell so these show up in your feed. And hopefully I'll see you next time. All right, thanks for watching. Take care. Thanks again for watching the video. If you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate it if you checked out patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. That's where fans of my channel go to help support it. There are different tiers with different offerings, exclusives every month. We got multiple movie reviews. There's a vlog monthly. And even if you don't want to plop down $1 a month, you can just sign up for Patreon for free and become a member at no charge. Appreciate your time. Thanks.